So I guess we could try to, we say it's difficult to put into words, but again, you do a good job in your book. And so we could talk about a few of the different aspects of this. So you have the idea that consciousness is a kind of space that exists beyond the ego. It's not just inside my sense of self. You have, this idea that what we really are is kind of eternal and indestructible. So death no longer really seems like a big deal, right? And then you have, maybe you were talking about, if you had kind of Sanskrit concepts, this idea of the net of Indra, the idea of interrelatedness in unity, right? That everything in reality and everything that we are is this kind of interrelated, unified thing. And that love is really a really powerful, fundamental aspect of what we are. Do you think that's a good survey of the kinds of things it feels like to be in that state?
Yeah, I think the ultimate mystical insight is probably that love is the ultimate nature of the energy that makes up the world, and that it's not just a mushy sentimental emotion, but it's an intelligent, creative energy, and that sounds so idealistic, it's so poetic. But I like to quote the final line of the Divine Comedy of, that it is love that moves the sun and other stars.
That's nice. Yeah, I feel like
way down at the core of being, there's this energy, that we call love.
Yeah, I think this goes neatly with what we. Sorry.
It's a healing process or force as well. So it's more than Valentine's Day.
Yeah, yeah. I feel like this is another place where the issue of language comes in, because to someone who's not had this experience, they might say, "Oh, I love a cup of coffee." And are you saying that sense of love is somehow fundamental and important, and they're mapping on this very, small concept onto this thing? Whereas what we're saying, I guess, would be one can have an experience that is so transcendent, so beyond words, and then we come back from that, and then what words are we going to use? Okay, love is the most appropriate one, but I think, to anyone who's skeptical, like we're referring to a genuine experience of genuine profundity that's that can be misunderstood, I guess, by the use of kind of hallmark words.
Well, skepticism is wonderful. In doing psychedelic research, if a new research volunteer or patient describes himself or herself as an honest agnostic, I always view that as good news. Because what counts is the capacity to be open, to collect new experiences, to be willing to discover new insights and then reflect on them, And so people who describe themselves as agnostics often have these profound mystical experiences with psychedelics, And we recently had someone who even said, well, I'm an atheist. That's my religion, just like being a Presbyterian or Episcopalian. I'm an atheist, that's my belief system. But, I did see God. And so I got to think about my language, but it's almost humorous at times, but the sacred realms within us, if you will, don't need to be defended. They can stand on their own, and people keep bumping into them and discovering them. The people who would have trouble, I think, trusting enough to allow a mystical experience would be anyone with kind of an ego agenda. Either I'm a real defiant atheist, I want to prove that there's nothing of ultimate beauty or meaning in life, you know, or someone who belongs to a very rigid, narrow religious orientation, that this little tiny subgroup alone has the right answers and everyone else is going to hell. You know, that if you want to prove an agenda, that's the ego can't relinquish control and dive into or allow the emergence of these deeper transcendental forms of consciousness. But give me a good skeptic anytime, you know?
Yeah, I think that's the wonderful thing with psychedelics as well, right? That instead of 1 in 1,000 people, say, having a mystical experience and saying, trust me, it's real, trust me, you know, like this is the message. Instead, if someone's skeptical, they can check it out for themselves. And yeah, I think that's an optimal situation. With your...
And you don't even have to call it a mystical experience. You can call it whatever you want.
Yeah. Yeah, the experience.
You can call it the nothingness that contains all reality, if you like, you know? But that there's something there that's profoundly beautiful and fundamental and meaningful. And the intuition is that it's within each of us, you know, or in and through each of us somehow. You know?
Yeah, that's nice, the kind of in and through, because I feel like one way this is often understood is realizing that you are not your ego, you are not your sense of being a separate self, but you are in some sense one with the universe, part of the universe, at home in the universe. You know, you are the kind of play of energy of the universe. So yeah, I think that's a nice way of putting it.